Hi, I'm Christy Thornton, the Executive Director of the Myositis Association. And I'm so happy to be with you again tonight for the final installment of our TMA Empowerment Series for 2021 Myositis Awareness Month with our theme, A Call to Action. Tonight, we will be talking very briefly about the power of volunteerism. So thank you for joining us tonight. As you all know, working for a nonprofit, whether you are a volunteer, an employee, it is a labor of love. I like to tell people that nobody is becoming wealthy off of their work with a nonprofit. I'm sure there are some exceptions to that train of thought, but for the most part, people are in the field of nonprofit work, whether they are doing it from an employment standpoint or from a standpoint of caring about a cause and being passionate. They're in that industry because they are caring people. Okay, and we know that volunteering, as it says here, is the backbone of many nonprofit organizations across the United States. And the Myositis Association is no exception. So you look at us as an international organization, almost 30 years old, and we have capacity right now for about 5 full-time employees. We don't have 5 at present, but that is our goal. And with 5 employees, with 10 employees, the capacity that we have to do the work that needs to be done is very limited. And so we depend very heavily on the generosity of volunteers to contribute their time, their skills, their talents to the organization so that we can get the needed work done in an effective manner. Again, working with nonprofits and working for nonprofits are considered labors of love. This says virtually every single nonprofit organization relies totally on volunteers to carry out their activities. To make a difference. That is true. Volunteering in America did a study that showed that Americans, thankfully, because Americans tend to be very generous with their time in volunteerism, spent over 3.6 million hours volunteering for organizations and causes for which they are passionate. And so that is the good news today, that many people have a heart for volunteerism. They're willing to give their time and their skill sets to organizations like ours and to causes to help us accomplish more. So volunteerism in the dictionary is defined as an altruistic activity where individuals or groups provide services for no financial gain to benefit other people, groups, or organizations. So some of you may volunteer as individuals. You may go out and partner with organizations with whom you're connected, or you may volunteer through your faith community or through your employer. You may be involved in volunteering endeavors individually, or you may belong to community organizations or civic groups or other groups that volunteer collectively. And through that group setting, you are able to volunteer. Many of our children have been Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, and many of us in the church community have volunteered in group settings and sororities and fraternities and other community organizations where they are literally there to assemble people who are willing to volunteer collaboratively. The concept that many hands make light work is so important in pushing forward missions around causes and organizations like ours. This means that more people that you have working to accomplish tasks, the quicker it'll be done, the easier it will be done. Some people will say, what, too many cooks spoil the broth. So there's that frame of thought too. But what I will say is that when you have more people dedicated, when you have more talents available, when you have more people doing what you see here, raising their hand to take the opportunity to take some of the burden of the task on and to come together and to share in the work, it does make the work lighter, it does make the work easier. And this is really what volunteerism is all about. Why is volunteering so important? A couple of reasons. Of course, as a nonprofit executive director, I think volunteering is essential, but there are benefits to you as a potential volunteer as well. So it says that volunteering allows you to connect to your community and make it a better place. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, there's a saying that service is the rent you pay for living. And I wholeheartedly believe in that, right? In order to live and to be blessed and to have whatever advantages, and sometimes from your vantage point, being in the patient community or being someone who maybe has experienced trials and tribulations, you can't see the advantages, but whatever advantages that you have been fortunate enough to experience really puts you in a position to be able to reach back and to support and help someone else. however big or however small you intend to do that. And so volunteering is a two-way street. It not only benefits the cause and the organization or the patients or the people who need the support, it benefits you as well. Okay, and it says your family, because dedicating your time as a volunteer helps you make new friends, build your network, boost your skills, and there are other benefits that we'll talk about as well. The more we give, the happier we feel. I tend to think that's true. And I am someone who, outside of my work in the nonprofit industry for many, many years, I volunteer for other organizations. I sit on boards of directors for community organizations. I give of my time, my talent, my money, because I just feel and was brought up to believe that I should, that to whom much is given, much is required. And doing so makes me extremely happy. When I am able to know that I've had an impact on my community or in bettering other people's opportunities or their lives, it makes me feel better. So this, I believe, is true. The more you give, the happier you feel, right? And I also very much believe in a willingness to give and a willingness to volunteer being something that comes back tenfold. So the more you do for other people, it's just my belief that a willingness to do that is returned tenfold with advantages and blessings that will come to you. This says volunteering increases self-confidence. So perhaps if you volunteer, you'll feel like the gentleman on the picture there. You'll feel stronger and more confident. It says when you do good for others in the community, it provides a natural sense of accomplishment. That is so true. And let me just say here that there's no age in which you need to start. So I have always throughout their lives, my children have participated in volunteerism. We've gone, they've been exposed to people less fortunate than we, they've supported, they've helped, because it's an important lesson around compassion and empathy. And there is a natural sense of accomplishment when you have supported another community, just even another person, a cause or an organization, and you know that you have used your time here on earth to do good for other people. It can also give you a sense of pride and identity. What are the different types of volunteer roles? Well, every organization, every cause has different needs. And so when you're seeking out volunteer opportunities, you're going to have to delve into what they have available, but you also have the power to talk about what you have to bring to the table. And sometimes organizations like ours need you as a volunteer to step forward and tell us what you have to offer. You may have something we don't even know that we could benefit from. You may have something that we're desperately in need of, but don't feel like we have access to. So every organization has different roles, and then you as a potential volunteer can also bring forward different areas where you're willing to contribute. But here are three different types that we'll talk about. Formal, that's a formal engagement. This is a long-term volunteering, connection, either with a person or an organization where you are committed to delivering your energy, your time, your services. And then there are informal, less defined forms of volunteerism. This might be an area that is more appropriate for people who have less available time, right? You may not have a specific role, but as you're able to support or help, you may do a little here and do a little there. You're not a formal volunteer connected to the organization, but you do what you can when you can. And that is a type of needed volunteer role as well. And then there's social action. So this is where we talk about for TMA, our affinity groups, our veterans, our women of color, where people with common interests come together for specific outcomes. They may be ambassadors, building community education. They may be fundraising. They may be doing something specific because they want to work together to effect pretty immediate change, right? So social action, we want change, and when do we want it? Now. So that's a volunteerism opportunity where you are coming in for something specific, lending your time and talent to a specific goal and a specific outcome for the organization. Volunteering makes you feel better. We said earlier that volunteering can make you feel a sense of pride. It can make you feel happier. It can make you feel more accomplished. But this literally says that taking part in volunteering activities can make you feel better. Can you imagine that? Both in body and mind. Okay. It's, I wonder sometimes, like, as we are navigating life and the difficulties we all experience, you hear me say always that everyone has a journey. Everyone has a boulder to push uphill. It may be different. Sometimes yours is more difficult than someone else's, or vice versa, but we all have to walk through life, and life is hard and difficult. But can you imagine being able to depart from maybe the depression that you're experiencing or the anxiety or the angst that you're experiencing about your own circumstances and being able to feel better by what you're doing for someone else? This is such a wonderful opportunity. So this says a survey of over 3,000 adults found that of the people who had volunteered, 76% of them said that volunteering made them feel better. And 94% stated that volunteering improved their mood and self-esteem. It was found that people who volunteered were able to manage their stress more easily and feel a stronger connection to their community. I would venture to say that when you walk into circumstances where people need support and you can really see and open your heart and mind to what other people go through, it sometimes probably can put your own experiences into a little bit of perspective. And I can see that it would, generally make you feel good about what you're offering, but also about what you have to be, for which to be grateful. Volunteering helps you build new skills. So there are so many opportunities with organizations like ours for you to share your skills and knowledge, which you already have and are equipped with, but also to learn something completely new. And when you volunteer, you get the chance to take on new skill sets, right? You can be trained, you can learn new things. It's great practice ground to enhance skills and build muscle in specific areas. These are not limited to, but include communication skills, teamwork, the ability to adapt to any situation, a lot of technological things now. Here at TMA, we're doing a lot of things centered around technology. We're all learning together. And so when you're volunteering, you have the opportunity to build new skills that can help you in your other endeavors, right? In employment opportunities, it can help you build your resume. They can help you build skill sets that you can use in other arenas as well. And then volunteering helps you to make new friends, okay? Some of you don't want any new friends, right? No new friends, right? But volunteering can help you be connected, okay? Not just to the organization, but to other people who have that same energy, that same vibe you have to be a giving, contributing person. It can help you build new friendships with different types of people, with people you would have never associated with otherwise, right? You'll be in an environment where you both are supporting something you care about, where you're both passionate, and it's a shared journey. And so volunteering gives you an opportunity to step out of your usual comfort zone of people that you see and touch every day and the colleagues that you know and probably fall well within your comfort zone. It gives you the opportunity to meet new people, because in this realm, if you don't have anything else in common, what you do have usually in common is your passion for whatever project, organization, cause, or mission that you are both rallying around. So it's an opportunity to help you make new friends. Now, what I would like to do is to show you guys a brief video that further explains the power of volunteerism before we close this evening.
There's no one right way to volunteer. There are as many different ways to volunteer as there are people willing to volunteer.
But I think what unites the description, I would say, of a volunteer is someone who cares, someone who wants to be involved, someone who wants to give something back.
I care about people and I care about the environment.
I care about eradicating poverty.
I care about equality.
I care deeply about the people who are on the fringe of our society.
I care about education.
I care about animals, especially puppies.
I'm passionate about kids.
I care that people have a home and have food.
Sometimes it's easy to get just into the daily grind. And by volunteering, it helps me break out of that. And while I might get frustrated because of all the world's problems, I can go and do something about it. I can go volunteer.
I think the best thing about volunteering is making a difference in me.
It brings the best out in people, and you make some really lifetime friendships doing this.
Really learning more about what I can push myself to do.
It's an excellent way to spend your time in retirement.
The sheer joy of building something with someone and seeing the results of that.
You will meet people you would never have met otherwise. You'll see a different side of life.
There's things I've learned that I've applied to my home life, my business life.
We have an obligation to build trust in the community that affords us so much.
The advantages of having a workplace volunteer program is that employees are energized when they come back to the office.
It's a great way to connect with my employees outside of the office.
It's very important that businesses support the communities that they do business in, and that those communities are healthy and they thrive.
And volunteering is one of the best ways to do that.
And you can know at the end of the day, you did something. And you did something to change a life. You did something to change a community.
Volunteering isn't always easy, but it's always worth it.
The most challenging thing about volunteering is there's so many needs, but only one of you.
You see nonprofits and you see community organizers with really limited resources, and that's hard to see.
Sometimes you feel like you can't go far enough. You know, the need is always stretching way out in front of you.
I think folks don't realize how impactful a little bit of their time can be.
I think the biggest thing that stops people from volunteering is fear that they just don't have enough time. My feeling is if you look at the rest of your life and how busy you are, you could say that about lots of things you do.
But if you make this a priority in your life, you'll find time for it, and the other things in your life will become much better too.
I've tried to find a way to connect my different worlds, my personal life, my business life, my volunteer activities all together.
I think once you're there, you don't think about it in terms of time, oh, I'm going to be here for 2 more hours. You think of it in terms of what you're doing.
Look at your calendar and be honest with yourself, be honest with the organization. Tell them what you can do and tell them what you can't do.
There are organizations that can work with any number of scheduling challenges. We just have to be open to being flexible, to working our schedule around the need.
The hardest thing about volunteering can be finding the right fit.
People should understand or get a better feel for what they like doing in life, and then finding a volunteer opportunity that will satisfy that.
Take something you're interested in or think you may be interested and try it. And try it not just once, but try it a couple times.
What problems do you see in your community? What do you see that you want to solve? Because I can guarantee you there's someone working on that and they could use your help.
There are a million different ways you can make a difference. Pick any one of those and go for it.
The first step is always just asking what it is that you can do to help.
Even a couple of hours on the weekend or during the weekday, maybe your lunchtime, all of that matters.
The opportunities are there. All we need to do is to look for them. It's a click away.
It's a click away. And so the opportunities are there. All you have to do is ask, right? Here at the Myositis Association, we are one of those organizations that are dependent upon your support through volunteerism. And we have opportunities. So if you are interested, please reach out to us at tma@myositis.org. I will tell you that I do have a heart for volunteerism. If I had my way, everyone would participate in it. And if not for TMA, then please consider, leveraging your ability to be a volunteer for some cause, for some organization. I have a heart for, nonprofit theater. I have a heart for food insecurity, specifically with children. I volunteer for that. At one point, I volunteered for Habitat for Humanity. And you talk about learning new skills. I literally can lay a sidewalk. I can hang drywall. I can hang doors. I can wire. I learned all this stuff through my volunteer experience. And now, although I am certainly connected to the Myositis Association through employment, a lot of what I'm able to still give that supersedes my employment with the organization is because of that same passion I have and my commitment to seeing causes through. So my encouragement, my call to action for all of you today that are listening, hopefully something we shared in this brief time has resonated with you, and that you will take on volunteerism as your call to action as we get ready to wrap up Myositis Awareness Month. We need you. We need the talents that you have. We need the time that you may be able to spare through telling your stories, to lending your talents to us, through working with us to be strategic thought leaders. We need your support. The community needs your support. And remember, many hands make light work. And so hopefully you feel inspired and encouraged around the power of volunteerism. It was my pleasure to speak with you briefly tonight, and I wish you all the very, very best. Good night.